Welcome back to the folks who subscribe or have watched any of my previous videos, and welcome to you if you are new. I'm Maroxby. I am an edutainment creative and an XR artist, and I am here because I say recently, I'm literally in the midst of my first sponsored exhibition, interactive exhibition, and I wanted to pass along some tips that I've learned. This is technically my second exhibition ever, but this is the first one where I had like a team behind me and it didn't crash and burn. So here are my 5 tips for curating an AR interactive art exhibit. Number 1, measure twice, cut once. This one's super self-explanatory. Basically, all I'm saying is do as much planning ahead of time as you can. For example, with my exhibition, once I got the green light, I grabbed the floor plan and I put it in Blender, and I did a really low detailed kind of box model of what I had in my mind. And I did it to scale so that I was able to play around with different concepts, different layouts, It was super helpful, not only for me to kind of walk through if these ideas were actually executable and felt right. It gave me something to play with as I was going through the options in my mind. But then also, it was super helpful for communicating my ideas to the rest of the people that were supporting me. Being able to have that model and show them what I had in my mind was a really great way to communicate my ideas to them. Number 2, keep it simple. Especially when you're dealing with tech, right? As technical artists, we kind of have the world at our fingertips. Technology is ever changing, and there's so many different tools you can use to do what you want to do. And if you don't have your chosen kind of toolbox preset ahead of time, you could end up almost in analysis paralysis, trying to sort out what tool will get the job done. And even worse, if you don't have a lot of experience with that tool, it might not be as easy to get what you need done in time. For example, like I said, in that last exhibition that I had tried out, I had done a lot of AR work in Spark, and I'd learned the hard way that, Spark has a pretty small file size that you can build with. And for something as robust as what I was trying to do for this exhibit, I knew there was no way I'd be able to fit all of that artwork inside of, a Spark build. Fortunately, I worked at a Unity shop professionally before this, so I do have experience engineering in Unity. And once I was in there, all I really needed to do was see kind of MVP through to make sure that okay, this can be done. This is a viable option for this. So again, just make sure that you have your tool set ready to go before you commit to doing something like this. Number 3, tech is a tool, but it's not the only tool. Long story short, when you're doing something this large, I think a lot of times people neglect just practical interactables. So for example, in my exhibition, I had these sticky subjects, which were literally just boards that were magnets on the wall that you could take down. Just some simple things that I think really added to the environment, and they weren't a part of the AR experience. They were just interactable. And I think there are ways even for practical interactable, I think there's ways for practical interactables to even emphasize your AR effects. I think as a society, we rely so heavily on technology that we really neglect our reality. That's actually why I'm not really into virtual reality, because I think there's so much we can do with the reality we have. So just don't neglect the possibilities of integrating stuff like that into your exhibition. Not to mention, it'll save you some dev time, so keep that in mind. Tip number 4, it takes a village. If you try to do something like this on your own, you are setting yourself up for failure. And this is coming from someone who tried to do it on their own and failed. You want to try to find people who are going to believe in you and that you can rely on to help you see this project across the finish line. And I realize that that's a lot easier said than done. Sometimes you don't have people that are as dedicated to your vision as you are, or even maybe they, want to support you, but just might not have the bandwidth. The reality is once you get into these larger scale build outs, you do need support. So I would say make sure you secure some kind of a team to see you through the finish line for this before you commit to getting it done. Number 5, not perfect, but done. This one hurts me deeply because I am a perfectionist. I still struggle with this. You want it to be perfect. You want your vision to be exactly what you see and everyone to come and to love it and la 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 la. But the reality is it's not going to be perfect. In a build out like this, you can't harp on minute details. And again, don't get me wrong, you do want to make sure that things are polished, but the reality is you are responsible for getting a lot done, and being hung up on something small will cost you a lot bigger in the long run. At every step of this process, you need to have the bigger picture in mind. Like opening day, things might not be perfect, right? When I opened my exhibition day one, oh Lord, we had a couple of hiccups, couple of mishaps, but that was day one. Between day one and the next public showing, I went back, to my, I want to say studio, but I went back to my house. I fixed the things that I noticed weren't working. I tweaked the things I'd seen kind of falter, and by showing two, those things have been fixed. And the same thing with showing two. If I saw something else, especially when you're dealing with technology, like no matter how much testing you do, the bugs will come, as we all know. And you're not locked into the version of your exhibit that you gave on day one. You're not locked into the version of your exhibit you gave on any day. So don't beat yourself up too bad if things aren't exactly what you want them to be on opening day. You still have the capacity to tweak, to change, to rejigger, whatever you have to do to make it feel like it's what you wanted it to be. I hope that all of this helps you out if you're interested in doing an AR exhibition. I have a few more showings for mine, and also the exhibition is called the Election Cyclorama. It's based off of a book. I will put an image of the book here. It also has an AR app that I am actively working on. It might be out by the time this comes out. If you want to support, please jump on my Etsy, grab one. They're fun. They're flip tabs. I worked really hard on them. And yeah, I appreciate you hanging with me this whole time, and I'll catch you in the next one.